Welcome to another installment of the First Blood interview series. I am a little fuzzy seal today, joined by Justin Kayuun. Welcome here today, Kayuun.
Hello, hello.
Real quick before we jump into the bulk of the interview, just a quick announcement to make for you guys. Our Valentational, it's a charity event that will be occurring on February 14th, has just been confirmed. You can check our website for the press release and more information. We'll be working with the Esports Foundation. It's a local charity around here that helps impoverished children based on various tragedies, but also just impoverished children in general. The event itself will be playing on Vikendi, 30 duos, and tons of triggers that will help us and the rest of you guys donate for charity. So make sure you tune into that one when it ends up happening. That being said, interview today. That's what we're here for. Kayuun, so we have I got a long list of questions for you here, but right now, just as a quick overview for you guys, Kayuun is an ex-Overwatch player turned Fortnite for Ghost Gaming. So how did this all come about? Like, what initially got you interested in and invested in esports?
So I started playing on PC since I was like super young, right? Like, I was playing PC games like Maple Story in Minecraft. And the first competitive game was actually League of Legends. And I think anyone that started League of Legends pretty early follows TSM, right?
Yeah,
And like the whole esports growth in League of Legends, and that's how I got invested into esports.
What was your involvement in esports before you started your pro career? Like, you're pretty young, so you probably
Right.
weren't like a manager or anything like that. But were you just like a fan like most of us?
Yeah, I was just a fan. I was just watching LCS in my spare time and just doing school and playing games on the side, just chilling.
So when did you begin playing competitively? Was it like while you were in school or what?
So like when I got into college, right, I joined my esports club, just make some friends. It seems like a common
Your college
interest.
is an
But
esports club? That's awesome.
yeah, as an esports club, it's kind of crazy. And then I met some dudes there, and they told me all about the TESPA Collegiate Overwatch series. There's like $100,000 in scholarship prizes up for grabs. All you have to do is just play some games with your college team and hope you get in there. So that's what I ended up doing. Ended up performing pretty well, I'd say. Didn't make it into the scholarship money, unfortunately. I was one round
Oh.
away from getting in there. That's quite unfortunate, but I think I had a pretty good showing on stream, and from that, I met a very important person to me. His name is Dogman. Do you know who Dogman is?
No, I don't.
He's a at the moment he's a really good contenders player in Overwatch.
All right.
Hopefully, I hope he gets signed to Overwatch League one day. He's a really good player. He actually scouted me out from the collegiate scene, and we started our own team called Citizen 7 in the early Overwatch days. That's where I started.
That's awesome. I might be able to cast you if you both stuck in there a little while longer. So was your push into esports supported by your friends and family? Because it sounds like actually like one of the big reasons that actually got you into competitive esports was actually like a sort of infrastructure that was set up by your college by like the culture you were a part of.
Right, right. So outside of the collegiate tournament, obviously, I just kind of told my parents, yeah, I'm gonna play a video game and hopefully I win some money. And they're like, yeah, dude, that's
Money's
awesome.
great.
Right. But then like the moment I started scrimming outside of that with Citizen 7, it kind of like pushed my passion a little more, and like it's kind of eye-opening. Like I never thought to myself, yeah, dude, I can try to play video games as a career. You never really think about that as a kid. That wasn't my dream growing up. I
Oh
was gonna go to
wow.
college, become an engineer, get a degree, and then all of a sudden I have this second option open available to me.
Yeah, I mean, look down, look at your shirt. Like, I think that you have done a pretty
Ghost
good. Yeah, you
gaming.
did a pretty good job for yourself so far, man. So congratulations there. So you have some friends that helped you along the way as well. You mentioned getting scouted as well. Has anyone else like from your collegiate team back in the day? Do you know what they're still doing, or is that long gone?
It's long gone,
Oh,
unfortunately. Yeah.
that's a bit of a shame. So when, if ever, did you feel as though you'd sort of like made it in esports? Because right now you're part of like a really good organ. You're part of Ghost Gaming.
hmm so when I was grinding the competitive Overwatch scene, we were like enrolling in like small tournaments, but we were winning the smaller tournaments. So we got our name out there. We had an agent that helped us look for organizations, and the first one that picked us up was actually Evil Geniuses.
Oh.
Yeah, I was pretty hyped. They sent us out to like their Dota house. We did like some content there. They gave us, I remember when they gave me my first like EG hoodie. I didn't get a jersey yet. They gave me a hoodie and I was just like, this is it.
That's it. How old were you at that
This
point?
is it. I was 18.
Oh my
Just fresh out of
goodness.
college. Yeah.
And so when exactly, like, do you know what age you start getting into esports?
What age? I mean, like the very beginning of League of Legends when that started. I don't know how long ago that was.
I mean, I don't know how long that was, but that's probably like lower teens, right?
Yeah, like probably 6 years ago, 7 years
Ooh.
ago.
So you're wearing this jersey of a team that you've seen compete in these big events. How did that feel?
I, you said it right. That's what I knew. Like, okay, dude, I made it.
Oh man, that is awesome. So, Overwatch specifically. So you mentioned that you actually got into MOBAs, but getting into Overwatch, isn't that like a bit of a leap, or are they pretty similar?
Oh, say that again.
You got into MOBAs initially as like a PC gamer, right?
Right.
But Overwatch, isn't that a bit of a leap?
So actually, I played League of Legends for like about 4 years, and then I got a little tired of that, so I moved on to CS:GO. Actually,
Ah, okay,
I wasn't
there it is.
I wasn't planning on playing CS:GO competitively at all. It was just like a kind of side thing to do during high school and my free time, and that's where I started like getting pretty good. I got to a Supreme. I think I was probably like a couple games away from getting global, so that was pretty exciting.
That's
But,
good.
like right before that, Overwatch came out. You know, my friends were like, "Dude, there's this new game called Overwatch." So I tried it, and it ended up being really fun. So I started playing that instead.
Yeah, you actually are you the kind of person that plays one game at a time and then just grinds the hell out of that game?
Yeah. Okay. So one thing that I think makes me like I hate being terrible at games.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when I find a game that my friends are playing and I start playing, I'm like, man, I suck so bad. So then I'll be like, okay, guys, I gotta go to sleep, and then I'll probably like play for another 4 hours.
It fuels you, man. Yeah, I'm the exact same way. Although honestly, if there's ever a game I'm like really bad at, it's either like I either drop it or I play it for a very, very, very long time. I'm the exact same
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
man. I definitely get that. So you did that for a while. Have you done that for like every game that you've played? Do you think like every PC game? You just
Pretty much, dude.
oh man.
Like Minecraft, League of Legends,
Farm the
CS:GO,
Minecraft.
Overwatch.
Get yourself some minerals until you're the Minecraft god.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've gone from League of Legends, you've gone from there to Overwatch, but also, I think that most notably, you've gone from Overwatch into Fortnite. How did that turn around?
So I mean, I think like the main push there was the Overwatch League. Overwatch League is like the big timeline
Yeah.
for Overwatch, right? I mean, like before that, we had like this grassroots community. Everyone was growing, playing tournaments together, setting up our own tournaments. And then once Overwatch League came about, that whole like smaller scene just kind of started to shut down, and that's
Yeah.
where I was part of. So it was the kind of period where I kind of like had to drop out of Overwatch because I didn't get a Overwatch League contract. Actually, I was trialing with Boston Uprising, but I didn't end up getting a spot there.
I have a Boston Uprising jacket.
Yeah.
I can't get it right now. I have cables all over the place. It's a little too far, but I actually just took it off. Oh my goodness.
Maybe in a different timeline, you would have had my jersey. That would have been sick.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to have you in here, accidentally have your jersey on.
But yeah, I didn't get an Overwatch League contract, so I just kind of stopped,
Mhm.
went back to college, and just like Fortnite was like the big upcoming game, other from PUBG was its competitor,
Mhm.
and like I was streaming both games actually. I was playing both PUBG
Okay.
and Fortnite. Then like Fortnite started to grow really
Yeah.
big, so I mean like, and I thought it was really fun as well, and I just started streaming that a lot
Mhm.
until I got really good at it.
So was there ever a point in time, like you're streaming PUBG, you're streaming Fortnite, between those two games, what do you think eventually drew you more into Fortnite? Because you mentioned a little bit that it was just growing more, but is it more than that, or is it just like, yeah, this game is going to be big?
Okay, so I think the big difference between PUBG and Fortnite, they're both battle royale games, right?
Yeah.
I think the main difference, obviously, is that Fortnite has the building mechanic, and with the building mechanic, it just feels like you have so much more control
definitely.
over the game. Yeah, in PUBG, I feel like if I don't pay attention to my back for 1 second, all of a sudden I'm dead. Where in Fortnite, it's just like if someone's trying to fight me, build, build, build. You're always gonna come out on top if you're a consistent good player.
I don't know much about Fortnite, but I was thinking about that, how, in PUBG your positioning matters like a ton more. Like one putting yourself in the wrong spot, you getting shot in the back. But with Fortnite, I feel like there's, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like as long as you have enough materials and you didn't get shafted too hard on loot, there's almost never a spot where you can't just like scale your way out of, like to verb the word
Right,
skill.
right.
If you're good
That's
at it,
definitely an aspect, but there's a line, of course, right? Like if you
yeah.
put yourself in a bad spot, you can try to build yourself out of it, but if you put yourself in a really bad spot, there's nothing really you can do, right?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely on that one. Well, let's actually go ahead and start talking a little bit more about this because I feel like one of the big interesting things about you is that shift from Overwatch into Fortnite. So let's go ahead and sort of like establish that a little bit more. So, let's talk about Overwatch first. So, what about that game initially like drew you in? What made you like it so much?
I mean, Overwatch is just like such a fast-paced, action-y game, and just being a teenager, that's
Oh
the
yeah.
kind of fun that I want. And it was kind of perfect. Like I was playing CS:GO, it felt really slow, right? But it was also really rewarding. I played League of Legends, which is a bit of on the faster side, and Overwatch is basically a combination of both of
Mm-hmm.
those games. So it was perfect for me.
To jump back into the Fortnite thing, the difference between PUBG and Fortnite, I feel like PUBG, like there's like bursts of action and like the actions that you do individually can feel very rewarding, but I feel like you're generally doing more in Fortnite. I feel like it
Right,
is
right.
faster paced when the action does start.
I think that those are the type of games that I think I just prefer. It's just faster paced, high intensity.
So, what was Overwatch your first esport? I think that you ended up like, pretty much answering this earlier, but did you ever get into a point like for League of Legends, for example, where you're just like, maybe I'll be a pro, or is it just, nah, just high school, just playing for
No,
fun?
no. It was not a dream.
Mm.
I mean, I got to like diamond in League of Legends, but I was never like a top player where I even considered like, oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna play this game 24 hours a day, try to grind for that top spot. No.
So, what about Fortnite do you like? Like, what's like your favorite aspect of it? You mentioned the building already, but is there anything about it like that's like really, really specific beyond the building, or is it literally just that? Just the building is amazing.
I mean, just overall, like, yeah, the building mechanic just makes everything feel smooth, consistent, and fun. Like the first time you get into a build battle in Fortnite and you know what you're doing, it is so fun. It's so rewarding.
I remember playing like 3 or 4 games of Fortnite, and that was the one thing. When I found that one player, I was just like, I don't know what to do. When they just started like building all around me, they just like giant tower up into the sky. I'm just sitting here with like
Yeah.
my gray SMG. Like I thought that would be enough. I thought I would be fine. I'm definitely not. Haven't been mining at all. I have no idea what's going on. Definitely understand that consistency.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like the culture of Fortnite? Because I feel like that's one of the big things that shows up with the game. Because a lot of people are just like, oh, Fortnite's just a game for kids. But games are games, and anyone of any age can play and enjoy a game, especially if it's an esport. So how do you feel about like the culture of Fortnite and people's opinions on it?
I think Fortnite has a very good community backing is what makes it a good esport is because we have players like Myth, players like Ninja, Tfue that all support having a competitive scene. And then of course we have all the fans and the casuals that love watching that as well. So I mean, there's that community push for an esports scene.
Hmm.
That's why we love it.
That's amazing to see that having so many people back the esports of your scene. Have you been to
Right.
any, or rather, what are some Fortnite events that you have been to? Because at this point, I'm almost certain you've been to some Fortnite events.
Right. So unfortunately, like I wasn't big enough to be invited. I wasn't too invested in the competitive scene for the initial summer skirmish. That was like the first online series for Fortnite. But there was the first LAN event, PAX Seattle, PAX West at Seattle. It was the first open tournament there. You could, as long as you were at the event, you could sign up for open registration to play in the tournament. That's what I did, and I ended up getting into the finals. Won myself a nice $5,000 paycheck. That was nice.
Ooh. Well,
And then I
ooh.
mean, from
Sorry. Go on.
what's
Go
up?
on. I
Uh,
was just thinking about like how much money have you won between Overwatch and Fortnite, but we can get to that one in a little bit.
I think my total earnings from Fortnite so far rounds to about $55,000. Not a bad haul so far.
Decent.
A decent haul.
Pretty good.
Overwatch, it's like a couple thousand.
Hmm.
Really wasn't that many tournaments in Overwatch to begin with.
Yeah, that makes sense. So for the Fortnite events that you've taken part of, like, how do you feel about like their structure? Are you happy with the stage of Fortnite events?
I mean, I'm happy that I get to participate in them right now. Uh, I know Fortnite right now is trying to find a method to have like an online ranking system. You know, like League of Legends has the ladder, and then you can get into like academy teams. Overwatch has the rank ladder as well, where people scout from.
Hmm.
Fortnite really doesn't have a rank system to pull new talent from, and I think that's what they're trying to figure out right
Hmm.
now with the pop-up cups.
Okay. Talk a little more about that actually, because I'm not familiar with that system.
So the pop-up cups are a system where uh, you get points from kills and placements, and the more points you get, you'll be placed against players with about the same amount of points.
Okay. So it's kind of like
So
MMR
so
in some ways.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And is that in like
And then
public
they
Fortnite games?
yeah, these are public Fortnite games, and they said they were going to add a leaderboard in the future, so I think that that'll be huge for new talent to come in.
Okay. So how do you feel about or how do events in the Fortnite scene differ from other esports, like scrims or anything upward from that? Because I've seen situations. I'm not sure if this is still true, but like where scrims in Fortnite are literally just Q snipe the other good players and just getting like one really good build battle and like that's the game.
Right. So at the moment, competitive players really don't have like a good system to actually practice
Interesting.
scrim matches, like tournament matches. We have to Q snipe. We basically say three, two, one, go. We press ready at the same time. Hopefully, we get enough players in the same lobby.
How many people do
Uh,
you normally organize for that kind of thing? Or is it like you get two or three, or are you trying to get like 20 people into the same lobby?
Usually, we have like Discord servers with like hundreds of people that are
Whew.
trying to queue at the same time. So usually, we get some pretty good lobbies. But let's talk about like the tournaments. I don't know. The tournaments so far have been a little weird from Epic, I'd have to say.
Okay.
They're really not like competitive tournaments showcasing skill like LCS and like Overwatch League. I feel like Epic Games just like the community wants like competitive games, and
Oh
then
yeah.
Epic Games are just like we're gonna turn your tournament into a joke and just like advertise our next new item. It's kind
Yeah.
of sad.
I don't follow Fortnite much at all, and even I know about a lot of those things have been pushed out. Like I think it was like the
Yeah, I'm
boombox,
sure
the
you've heard
sword.
about the sword.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty incredulous that kind of thing makes it in. Uh, I'm not sure how much you wanted to talk about this, but do you think that Fortnite esport events will begin to gain, I guess, more competitive integrity, or do you sort of see that as a trend that will continue going on in the future?
I mean, I personally hope it becomes more of a
Oh, of
competitive
course.
thing, but like from the looks of it, the next season 8 launch is gonna line up with one of the next big LAN tournaments, so I can only assume like a big update is gonna happen right before that tournament.
Mm. Yeah, well, we can only hope that it doesn't, so people have time to scrim with these settings that will be played in the
Right.
tournament. I don't think any other game really does that. In fact, I know there's a lot of other games that will actually just roll back updates on their tournament clients.
Right,
Overwatch will do
right.
that, I think.
So does League of Legends, but like I don't really know what they're doing here at Fortnite. It's kind of confusing. I'm confused.
Well, either way, even if there are new updates, the consistency of the game, at least from a skill level, I think, will always there'll always be a place for you, being able to get in your own build battles and play your game, even if it does differ in some ways when you go to these tournaments. So you
Right,
hopefully have
right.
at least that to look forward to. So what kind of events do you normally partake in? It seems like there's a lot of individual players that are signed to like Fortnite orgs, but there aren't any teams like a lot of other esports.
So like, I mean, the Fortnite events themselves aren't very team-based at all. We haven't had
Hmm.
a squads tournament in a I don't think we've ever had a squads tournament.
Really?
So like, I mean, yeah, a lot of the signed players are just here to as like notoriety, I'd say. Just it's a little weird, right? I mean, I feel like all the players signed to Ghost for Fortnite are part of my team.
Yeah, of
I think
course.
they're all part of my team, right? I love all of them. But like when we get into a tournament it's like solos and then we're like killing each other. It's I don't know. We gotta laugh it off. It's kind of weird. It's a weird system.
That
for
is
sure.
really interesting. Do you think that Fortnite in the future could or even should go into squads? Because it seems like once you go into squads, I feel like Fortnite really opens up. But right now, especially with like solos and duos, there's already a lot going on.
Right, right. I mean, I think just today they've introduced a trios mode. I think
Ooh,
that the main
okay.
issue with the squads mode is that it becomes too laggy.
Oh yeah,
So maybe
definitely.
trios would work out a little bit better.
Do you want to see that? Do you want to see like trios and squads showing up more,
I
or are you
would
more of a
like to
solo duos
see.
guy?
I would like to see more trios tournament because like the teamwork is really what makes a game an esport,
Oh yeah,
right? I feel
absolutely.
like so like trios would definitely be fun in a actual official Fortnite tournament.
That would be really cool because that's like a sort of numbering format that like no esport has really even used, or at least not to my knowledge. It's definitely a very very strange number to see, and as well, team events are always pretty cool.
Right.
So what I think that we already kind of touched on this a little bit, but what do you want changed most about Fortnite from an esport perspective? I think that you already touched on a little bit with the updates.
Esports perspective. I've had this idea for a while. I feel like Fortnite has a good mechanical core already, with the building and the shooting,
Mhm.
where we don't really need the battle royale mode. I feel like if Fortnite just
Really?
focused more on like an arena mode, like CS:GO, like 5v5, Overwatch 6v6, that could work out for Fortnite too. If we just have this enclosed map, keep the core mechanics of building, and then just we can actually have an esport where like teams can fight each other
And just
and
have
have an
like
objective to fight over.
infinite resources or something like that, or like a set amount when you
Something.
spawn, maybe.
Maybe like an objective to fight for more resources. Like I don't know. I feel
That's
like the
really
battle royale
cool.
mode itself is so weird, right? Yeah. I think the arena mode would be sick.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about that right now because, like in PUBG, for example, that already kind of exists with War Mode, but you can't have really people like spawn in. Like the game isn't built around that.
Right.
And honestly, like the battle royale for PUBG is integral to the game. But I think that you're actually onto something with Fortnite because that actually is a really really strong and unique base. That's really cool. Well, all right. So you mentioned the esport perspective, but right now Fortnite is a battle royale. So
Right.
what do you personally want to see most changed about it as a game from that battle royale perspective?
I mean, I think they're doing the battle royale fine. Casuals love it. I love playing the battle royale mode. It's fun. But I mean, I feel like I said, I feel like a lot of the players right now, they don't really play it for the battle royale mode. They play it for the building, right?
Mm.
They go drop tilted towers, retail. That's like PUBG's Pachinki
Yeah. Okay.
school. They just go and just fight. They really don't care about the battle royale aspect.
That's a good point. Maybe it's a fad we'll see evolve over time with the Fortnite and the PUBG scene. I know the PUBG scene actually has recently taken a system that rewards kills a lot more. So like you kind of sort of were cluing in on there, the battle royale survival aspect is sort of just getting less interest as time goes on. So that going
Right,
back to your
right.
previous idea, I think that you're onto something there with that, like team versus team objective thing. So what do you see as the future of Fortnite esports? Do you think that it will actually end up being that sort of smaller scale, less laggy for sure game mode, or do you think that it will sort of continue along its current path?
I mean, I personally hope that we turn to like an arena mode for like actual esports, but I think the battle royale is still going strong. They're still gonna stick to what works, and like the battle royale format is just like good overall for what they're trying to do, like bringing in celebrities, bringing in good content
Hmm.
creators, people that have notoriety into these big tournaments. And I mean, it's just fun to watch, just like your favorite player playing these tournaments.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So we're going to be going to a quick break. When we come back, we are going to ask Kayuun a lot more about his past with other orgs, but also a lot of questions about how Ghost Gaming is currently going for him. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back soon with the second half of the Kayuun interview. Welcome back to the First Blood interview series. We're going to be talking to Kayuun from Ghost Gaming about, well, Ghost Gaming as well as a couple of the other orgs he's been a part of in the past. Hello once again, Kayuun.
Hello, hello.
So, let's talk about, once again, chronologically. You mentioned a little bit about your past in the Overwatch scene, and you mentioned how, having an agent that sort of scouted out some orgs for you, but did you ever really see much success in that regard in the Overwatch scene, as far as having orgs or groups sort of acquire and represent your team?
I mean, I think the early Overwatch stage where it was mainly grassroots was pretty strong. We had orgs buy in, TSM was looking for a team, NRG had a team, Method. I was part of Evil Geniuses for a couple months. I think it was working out pretty well, yeah.
What was it like being part of Evil Geniuses?
I think it was awesome, I get to be paid to play
Yeah.
Overwatch. I get paid to grind that game and be the best. I thought it was awesome. They sent us over to their Dota 2 house to do some content. And just I mean, it just feels good, just having a logo on your shirt. It feels really good.
I get you.
Hey,
I understand
hey.
what it means. Yeah. So, obviously that didn't last forever, as you are now a part of Ghost Gaming in a new game, but when you were in that sort of transitionary period from Overwatch going into Fortnite, so how long did it take for you? How long were you orgless in the Fortnite scene?
About a year and a half. Year and a half. Yeah.
Did your time in Overwatch, Evil Geniuses for Overwatch, sort of change your stance on that? Like when you got into Fortnite, where you were just need to find an org, or was it mostly just keep grinding and if someone acquires me, someone acquires me?
I mean, it's a little weird. I think after I was done with Overwatch, I was pretty committed in just going back to school
Okay.
and just streaming on the side, since playing Overwatch professionally kind of grew my brand and stream a little bit. So I was just streaming a lot of Fortnite until my current agent, actually, Kimball, reached out to me and literally told me, hey, you're good enough to play Fortnite competitively. I have a team that is looking for a fourth player. I think you should scrim with them. And that team is actually 100 Thieves now.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, opportunity just sometimes comes to you, I guess. It was really weird.
Especially if you deserve it, which you certainly do. You mentioned having that agent as well. Is that normal? I don't have an agent.
I think it's pretty commonplace in esports nowadays to have an agent kind of look out for you, look for opportunities. If you're orgless, to get you signed. If you already have an org, to make sure you have other things to do, like this interview, for example, is pretty nice. I mean, just having a lawyer in general as well is really nice, because some orgs these days are just, you need to have a lawyer to get a contract.
Yeah, definitely. Luckily, Ghost Gaming isn't one of those. If you want to talk about them real quick, I know we were talking before about all these different kinds of benefits that Ghost Gaming gets to you. Like we were talking before about your regimen, I guess you could say, your exercise regimen. What kind of things does Ghost Gaming provide in that regard?
So Ghost Gaming is a very special org and reminds me a lot about TSM when I first watched them in LCS, where if the org really cares about their players are going to grow, right? So Ghost Gaming offers me a lot. I mean, Ghost Gaming, I think, is just awesome. We have a personal trainer, helps us to be fit, healthy, keeps the mind fresh. We do gym every Monday, Wednesday, Friday that I just started. That's been really nice.
How do you feel about that? Has any other org at any other time in your life gotten you a physical trainer and says you're gonna work out on these days?
No, Ghost Gaming has been the first, and I feel like a lot of orgs are starting to jump onto this wagon, where they're starting to realize, okay, we can't just give our players a paycheck. We actually have to give them this environment to help them grow as a player and a person.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's great. I think it's good.
That's awesome. So, what else? What is it like being part of a Ghost Gaming? Because you said that it's a really good environment, helps you grow whenever you want. What other things they provide besides that, physical trainer that has you working out your body, health, body, and mind?
Just this week, I moved into the apartments here. I'm actually right now I'm in the Ghost Gaming office,
Awesome.
and that's also like one of those things, right? That office and work separation that a lot of players in esports don't have. A lot of them just play in their bedroom. You know, they get out of their bed and just sit in their chair and just start playing. Whereas over here, go back to the apartments. I go sleep, eat, wake up, and then I drive down over here to the office, and then I can get into that mindset of it's time to work, it's time to grind.
Hmm. So that like sort of office work separation, how do you feel about that? Because it probably is like maybe a little inconvenient to this is like the workplace, and back home is like the not workplace.
Right.
But there's definitely different opinions about that. What's yours?
It's definitely less convenient, having to drive here, but I think it's really healthy for the mind.
Mm.
Just having that separation is just really good. Because like sometimes when I was living at home and I was playing from there, my bed is literally 3 feet away from where my computer is, and sometimes I literally that's what it is. Like I don't feel like playing today, so I just go back and sleep in my bed.
Just lay there the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very toxic environment sometimes.
Mm. Do you? Oh goodness, I had a question and it just left. Oh no. um, how is the office space at Ghost Gaming? Do you think it's like a really good spot? Because I know that I know personally with the people that works there. I think Jabroni, he's the just sort of like the head coach, and you guys know each other. Like, how close are you to the guys at the office?
I mean, I've just met them, but I think we're really friendly. I've met the
Okay, okay.
CS:GO guys as well. Steel and Neptunism are living here. I mean, it's an awesome space to be around, Like I have people I can hang out with, talk with. That they all play video games like I do. We have the same interests, and
Hmm.
it's like we're all just friends here. It's pretty nice.
When did you actually join Ghost Gaming? Because you mentioned that you just met all the guys in the office.
I joined Ghost Gaming shortly after PAX West, the first LAN tournament. They saw my performance there, and then I met them. We talked, signed a contract. A couple weeks later,
Hmm.
that's how I met Ghost. But I mean, like meeting all the guys here at the office, I just moved in here last week, so that's
Hmm.
how I met them.
When was PAX West? Just for everyone else who doesn't know when that was.
That
I know when
was
that was.
last year in like
Mm.
August. So like a couple months back, 4 months.
All right, yeah. So they got you moved down in there, and that's in where is that? California?
Yeah, Southern California. It's
Mm.
the home of esports.
Oh yeah, definitely. How does it feel to be moving from I guess wherever back home was down over here? Did you give anything up to go to California to grind Fortnite with Ghost Gaming?
I mean, for me personally, it wasn't much of a commitment because I've already lived in Southern California. Actually,
Okay.
yeah, I'm actually only like an hour away from my actual home compared to the
Oh
office,
man.
so it's not that big of a commitment here for me.
So you gave up very, very little for the to make this
Yeah, very
happen.
little.
That's awesome. Uh, are you still going to school? Because I think that you were 20, and unless you're really, really smart, I don't think that you can graduate that quickly.
No, I cannot. I finished my first year of college, and then when I kind of had this idea that I wanted to do competitive Fortnite and I had these opportunities to do it, I took a leave of absence from college.
Mm. Do you think it's worth it? Like, how do you feel about that right now?
I mean, at the moment, I think it's working out perfectly fine. Ghost
Heck
Gaming has
yeah.
been treating me well. My stream's been growing. Hopefully, it keeps on growing, and I plan on doing this for as long as I can.
So let's go for like a little advice like segment, I guess you
Hmm.
could say, because it seems like for you didn't really, from day one, you did not intend to get here, but there's definitely people that sort of work really hard and they still can't make it. What advice would you have for those people?
Okay, so nowadays there's a lot of I get a lot of DMs personally from people that are like, my dream is to be a competitive Fortnite player.
Mm.
What steps do I need to do that? And like, well, first of all, take care of literally everything first. If you have any chores to do, if you're super young, you have chores to do that
Mm.
first. Do your homework, stay in school, get good grades first, and then once you have free time, you can spend that on grinding the game, getting good, getting to that top level. And once you have finally see that you can actually compete with the pros, like for example, with Overwatch, I was never like, dude, I'm gonna be a professional Overwatch player. And like, no, I started I was doing my college work and I was just playing in my free time, and eventually like I got to top 500 in Overwatch, and I was playing against other Overwatch pros on the ladder, and then that's kind of when like my brain opened, and especially when Dogman reached out to me to form a competitive Overwatch team, that was my eye opener where it was like, okay, this is probably my time to start
That seems like
start my passion.
that seems like really good advice too. Is just sort of like make sure that you have every because if you ignore everything else and only this, then you're going all in on this one thing. You don't even know if it's going to work.
Right.
So making sure that you have like everything, all your ducks in a row is very important.
Right.
Especially with that like having a good mindset. Do you feel like you've had like a good mindset going into this from day one? Because it sounds like you have.
Like, I mean, I've just waited for an opportunity to show itself, right?
Mhm.
Even when Overwatch wasn't working out and I was back in college, I was still streaming. I was still making YouTube videos, you know, like I'm still waiting for that opportunity. And once it came, I knew it was my time to just go all in once I got the
Mhm.
opportunity.
That's great, but not until the opportunity shows itself as for that one.
Yeah.
Do you?
Like, I'm not just gonna quit out of college and just like pursue something that I don't even have an opening for.
Mhm. Do you think that you would still be streaming as much as you were, still be making videos if you didn't have these opportunities show themselves to you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's where the passion comes from as well. Like just I love streaming, I love playing video games, and even if I wasn't signed to Ghost Gaming and I was still in college, I'd still be doing the same thing I'm doing right now. Just streaming in my
Mm.
spare time.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that. It sounds like you have like even though you didn't just, like start from day one and be like I want to be an esports pro. It seems like you've really sort of built yourself up to a point where you're like a very successful and a very healthy spot. So I'm very happy for you, Kayuun.
Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, I think at this point we've talked about pretty much everything. We talked about you and Ghost Gaming as well as orgs. Do you have any shout outs you'd like to make? I think before we close out this interview.
I mean, just like thanks for like my fans that subscribe to me on my Twitch channel using Twitch Prime. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Real quick, well, it seems like there's this like weird divide versus normal Twitch subs and Twitch Prime subs. What's the deal with that?
Okay, so Twitch Prime is just like it's non-reoccurring, right? So when you use Twitch Prime to subscribe to someone, it doesn't renew the
Okay,
next month.
okay.
So whenever you mention Twitch Prime, there's probably someone out there that doesn't know that their sub ran out.
Hmm. Yeah, because
Just
whenever I
all
like I
that
watch
stuff.
Twitch streams, like thank you for subscribing, whatever, for 2 months. But there's like thank you name for subscribing with Twitch Prime. And it's like all right, well
Twitch
that's
Prime.
it's kind of like a weird thing, like focusing in on that. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, like Kayuun said, make sure you guys check him out at Kayuun as well as at Ghost Gaming, the org that he is a part of. Obviously, he streams. Obviously, he makes content. So make sure you guys check all of that out as well. That being said, I think that is going to be it from us today. Don't forget, guys, we'll be going to do things with this time slot every week. It's going to be some interviews, but also on the 14th, we'll be planning the Valentational event for charity. We actually have a blog post on it, so go ahead and check our blog online for more info on that. That being said, I think that's it for us today. I am a Lil Fuzzy Seal, joined today by Kayuun of Ghost Gaming. Thank you so much for your time,
Yep, thanks for having me.
and we will be seeing you guys next time.